stage and everybody got to play their part.
Don't what up me, you fucking asshole.
Fall back, I'm on the grind.
D&D, JB.
The world's a stage and everybody got to play their part.
Fall back, I'm on the grind.
Don't what up me, you fucking asshole. Beware of the number 5 plus the letter G. You heard I'm just going beat, so this is sort of a treat, cause I repel doubt and shell.
Alright, what up world? This is i.g.o.d of the 9elements. I'm here with one of the dopest producers on the mic.
Thank you.
JJ Brown. What up? What up, fam?
What's happening, man? Good to have you here.
That's what's up. Alright, I wanted to talk a little bit about your album, Connect the Dots. For those who don't know about the project, why don't you give us a little background as to how it came about, actually?
I was always inspired by the Chronic album, how Dr. Dre, when he was breaking away from what people knew him as, which was the producer for NWA, he was now a solo artist. I liked the way that he didn't lean on anybody that was really already popular at the time, and to kind of, he wasn't riding anybody's coattails. He kind of felt like the best way to showcase one of the many kind of overlooked talents of a producer is to be the guy that can discover who's next. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like nobody had really done that lately. When I broke apart from the Louis Logic and JJ Brown stuff and the Demigod stuff, which is how people might know me, and I was like, okay, it's my turn to be the front man. I felt like it was time for another Chronic style album where, a lot of these albums coming out now, it's like, it's no disrespect to the producers doing what they got to do to make sure you know about them, but it's like the artists that are being featured on the albums, like them being on your record, it's almost like a one-way street. Like it's helping you as the producer, but these people, like their career, it ain't working both ways.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like you could literally, like the album title says, connect the dots back to November 10th, 2009. Within the next few years, and you see all these cats featured on my album becoming household names, like you'll be able to trace it back to me. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Now, like you said, most people know you as a producer for like the Demigods and Louis Logic. Being that this is like this was your first project, how different was it being both producer and primary artist as opposed to being working with Apathy or self-titled or Louis Logic?
I'm a real hands-on producer, so it wasn't really much different at all, to be honest. Like it was just my voice that made it to the final track.
Okay.
But a lot of times people will say, this guy sounds different when he's with you, or like some people say about like the single with Eternia. They never heard Eternia sound like that until she was with me.
Definitely.
I bring that out of people by being like very hands-on in the studio, and sometimes even rapping the verse for the person. Like, let's try this inflection or whatever. So I've always, I've been building my skills as a front man for the last 10 years as a producer. It's just my voice never made it to the final track.
All right. Speaking of Eternia, she obviously was one of the features on the album. Other people that you featured, of course, were Louis Logic, self-titled. You had Poison Pen, Reef the Lost Cause, and the legendary Craig G.
Word up.
Now, one particular feature that most people may not have guessed would be like on this album was the feature you had with Travis McCoy from Gym Class Heroes, who is now a solo artist with T-Pain's Nappy Boy Records. How did that collaboration come about?
I actually did an album with Louis Logic called Misery Loves Comedy, and Travis was a huge fan of it. And when Gym Class first got a record deal, like one of the first, kind of power moves that they tried out with their management was find Louis Logic and JJ Brown, and we want to open for them. That was when we were touring for Misery Loves Comedy. Wow. So we ended up doing like 3 shows together where they opened for us. Wow. And it was an amazing experience because we hit it off not just as admiring each other's work, but we ended up being buddies. Like Travis ended up moving into Louis owns a building in Bushwick.
Okay.
Travis ended up moving in, and we all became real close. And when As Cruel as School Children, did its thing, Around that time, I did a Ludacris mashup album with nothing but Jackson 5
I remember
samples.
that.
And Travis was like, yo, do that same thing for our album, but with Hall & Oates samples. So I did that for him. Me and my partner Danny the Deacon Meyer. We did this whole album for Gym Class, and in return, Travis jumped on my record.
Okay. All right. Now before you became a producer slash MC, you were on casting calls for Broadway plays and such, which is kind of a theme for one of my favorite joints on the album. You know, the world's a stage.
Word.
Do you ever do you ever at this point like think about it even for a split second, or have you ever thought about what it would have been like if you'd have got that big break in Hollywood?
I just saw Seth Green not too long ago, and me and him used to run around, doing all the auditions together, and he stuck with it.
Yeah.
And made a very nice career for himself, and I wished him the best, and it was like, yo man, continued success, and I told him what I've been up to and everything. I never felt any regrets, because at the time that I kind of decided to concentrate solely on music, he was doing the the starving artist type thing. And it's like, he paid his dues just like I paid mine. And really, the way I looked at it was, there wasn't enough hours in the day to be paying dues in all these different facets of my personality. So I did it for music. He did it for acting. Continued success to the dude. He even, it's a funny story about Seth is, I first met him, I was about 11 years old, and we were doing Rocky 5 together. And he taught me, he was like, yo man, G.I.Joes are like 10 times as cool if you just unscrew the back and like put this guy's legs on this guy's body. And it was blowing my mind, because I was at the age still where like my parents were trying to teach me to, respect. Like, it was hard-earned money that bought those G.I. Joe guys, respect those dudes, take care of them. And he's teaching me how to demolish them and mess them all up on purpose. But it's funny now to see that he's got the Robot Chicken show, and that's like what he does for a living. Yeah.
All right. When was it like, at what point did you reach that crossroad between acting and hip hop, then when you actually chose to just, be like, hip hop is what I'm gonna do? And
it was really easy. It was my sophomore year of college. I only got into college, I'm not going to lie, because of my acting. Penn State and a few other schools were trying to recruit me for their drama program, and I ended up going with Penn State because it was just so picturesque. It's like something out of a movie. I thought, I'll never get this experience ever again, this opportunity ever again. So I went with Penn State, and every semester they made you do. I see right there. I said they made you do. I mean, that's what it was like.
Wow.
It was all day was classes, and all night you had to be doing one like musical or drama, like a production where you were in rehearsals or on stage every night. And I was starting to be late for these rehearsals and kind of have a little bit of an attitude, because I'd rather be like at home in my studio, or I'd be DJing at the club till 2 in the morning, and then be missing classes, and it was bad news. And so they kind of said to me, like, we never said this before to a student. I remember the whole staff at like this big long table, they called me in this room, and they said, it's not that you're not right for us, it's that we don't feel that we're right for you. Like, you haven't smiled in months. So they said, why don't you take a break and think it over? And
so they kind of let you off the hook.
Yeah, I never went back to that. I changed majors to communications, where I could, like, I think classes were done by like 1 or 2 every day, and I was just in the studio or at the club all night,